Hi, Jackie. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to interview you once again.
Hi, Nizam. It's lovely to be here. Thank you for offering to interview me again.
Okay. So, friends, after the first interview with Jackie, a lot of experiences started happening. I even have a wonderful experience, Jackie teaching me something in my dream. Then I don't remember it. When I said, Jackie said, "Don't worry, your subconscious mind remembers everything," and my practice style also changed. So I'm super excited here. Jackie does EFT in an unconventional way of rebirthing and be it past life regression. I can say Jackie has brought the spiritual dimension to the EFT process. So let's know more about her. And Jackie, what inspired you to try other things with EFT?
I think sometimes it's clients always, something will come up for a client and you're working with them and the way you're working doesn't work. So you have to look outside the box to find a different way to work. I think the past life things came when I had 3 clients consecutively that came and said it goes back to past life. And they were all talking about Atlantis, being around in Atlantis times. They all told the same story, but from their different perspectives. And changing, just treating that as a normal traumatic event in this life, suddenly everything changed for them. One lady could actually see better than she could see before.
Wow.
She was sitting she was sitting in my house. She looked out the window and she went, "I can see the leaves on that tree." And I said, "Yes." And she said, "Well, I haven't got my glasses on. I couldn't see them usually." And it's just as though, so then when something works with somebody, I experiment with it. Okay, so what happens if I do this, if I do this, if I do this? I was running a retreat in Slovenia once and we were working on something and I was working with one person and it went back to a past life. By the end of the retreat, the 3 people sitting next to each other had recognized they'd all been in the same past life together.
Oh my God.
One had been the person who was killed, one was the person who'd killed them, and one was the wife who'd been left destitute when they died. So it's like it was a huge healing there for all 3 of them. So I started realizing that, it's not just the stuff that goes on in this life, it's stuff that we come in with from other lives. And also reading things, reading that trauma gets passed down through the genes and realizing, the egg that we're formed from was formed in our mother when they were in their mother's womb. So what was going on for their grandmother will have affected the genes that were switched on for you and the information that was passed on. And it's not that far back before people were starving and couldn't keep a roof over their head, where life was really dangerous. And so we're carrying those sort of things. And I know you wanted me to talk about money today, and
Yes.
And our money beliefs, I think, come down both ways. They come down from the genetic traumas, and they also come down from the things we've brought in from previous lives. And then, of course, we add to it with the stuff that we go on with in this life.
Extra toppings.
Yes. So, yeah, it was just seeing that the deep root of things that people are working on are much deeper than the stuff that we do here and now.
Okay, that's awesome. So as we are talking about money, Jackie, how do we know, like, whether if it is been, from the previous life or from we are carrying it from our ancestors or like from the childhood birth, and how can one overcome that patterns?
Well, the good news is you don't need to know which it comes
Oh,
from.
wow. That that kinds of relaxes me. Okay, awesome. And
So one of the things that's really useful if you're working on money stuff is listen to yourself
okay,
or journal. So when you think about having money, listen to the voices in your head. What are they telling you? You know, typically, if you come from the UK, there's a saying parents always say to children when they want something: money doesn't grow on trees, you know.
yes.
um,
Indian parents are of no exception. It is
yes.
also found this in.
And my mum's favourite was, you can't have everything, you know. So the belief there was you could have some things, but you can't have everything. So if you want money, then you've got to give something else up. And certainly in my money journey, one of the things I realized was I thought that I couldn't have everything. So in fact, not having money was the least painful thing.
Okay,
So not having a good relationship or not having a successful business mattered to me more than not having money.
okay, okay.
So it's like I wasn't allowing myself to have money, because if I had the money, the young parts inside me who'd listened to all these messages had decided I would have to lose something else that was of value.
Oh my God. Okay.
So that's something that we might tap on in a few minutes.
Yeah, sure.
But one of the things you can do, you can just tap without knowing what it is, just generally. And I'm going to tap with everybody now, if that's okay. And it's using what Milton Erickson, who was a famous hypnotherapist, called artfully vague language. So you're being general, but in a specific way. So EFT is about being very specific. And, you know, Gary Craig, when he created it, was said, you know, you must get to that 20-second of high emotion. You'd be really, really specific. Well, if you're working that way, it's going to take you how many lifetimes to clear all those things? And as a hypnotherapist, I realized you could use that artfully vague language to tell your subconscious, yes, there is something attached to this going on. Please go and clear it. So you've told it what you want it to do, and you're giving it permission to go and find the relevant things. I imagine it going in and going through the filing cabinets and pulling out the relevant files to work on.
Okay. Okay.
And it's a way of bundling what you're working on, because, you know, if I was working with you on money stuff, I could work on every possible thought you've had that's negative about money, every possible event you've had that's about money, anything that you know about your parents or grandparents about money, any past lives, you know. There'd still be a lot of stuff that you don't know
Yes.
that's still there. Whereas if you can say this and anything like this, it can go and get all of them.
Okay. Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes. So, like, can we say like this tapping statement? I'm clearing all the files. Like, what would be a tapping statement?
I'll I'll take you through tapping the past life stuff to start off with.
Wow. Um.
Because, and I won't be telling it about the files because it knows that, but we're just going to do a general, even though some of this comes down from past lives.
Okay. Okay.
So you're just telling your subconscious, this is where it comes from. I want you to go and find it and clear it. Is that
Wow.
okay?
Awesome. Awesome.
And if you do that with clients, you can do it that generally. And if they need to know what about a particular past life, it will pop up. If it doesn't, it just means you didn't need to know, and it'll get cleared.
Oh wow. So there is no stress of finding out this root cause or anything.
Because if it's needed to be known, it will come up.
Yes. Yes. Agree. That's awesome.
So shall we have a go?
Yeah. Please.
Okay.
Yes.
So even though
So even though
I came into this life
I came into this life
with so many beliefs
with so many beliefs
around money
around money
and other things
and other things
that I created about other lives I'd lived,
that I have created in the other lives I have lived,
I love and accept myself
I love and accept myself
in this life
in this life
and every other life I've lived in,
and every other life I have lived in,
even though
even though
I'm carrying so many money beliefs
I'm carrying so many money beliefs
about other lives.
about other life.
I'd like every part of me to understand,
I would like every part of me underneath
to
them
understand
to understand.
that that was then.
Jackie,
That that was then,
that was then,
and this is now.
and this is now.
Those things happened,
Those things happened,
and they're over.
and that's over.
I'm in 2020 now,
I'm in 2020 now,
and it's time for me to release all old unhelpful beliefs
and it is time to release all those old and unhelpful beliefs
and create new helpful beliefs
and create new helpful beliefs
around me and money.
around me and money.
And I thank all parts of me
And I thank all parts of me
for their cooperation.
with cooperation.
All this old past life stuff,
All this old patterns and stuff,
all this stuff from past lives,
all this stuff from past lives,
allowing it to go now,
allowing it to go now,
back to the universe for recycling
back to the universe for recycling.
into something more useful.
It is something
Into something more useful.
into something which is useful. Yeah.
Releasing all old money traumas,
Releasing all the old money promise
and the vows, decisions, beliefs,
and the vows, decisions and beliefs
and strategies
and strategies
that I created based on that,
that I created based on that
with my thanks.
with my facts.
Thanks.
Thanks. Okay.
Let's just take a breath. And, sometimes it's good to have a drink.
Yeah. Oh, that's a very powerful statement.
And very genuine. So if I was working with a client, I would say, did anything come up? So did anything come up for you then, Isam?
Um, there is some sort of heaviness in my chest, Jackie, and I don't know, some resistance and heaviness in my chest.
Okay. So is the resistance attached to the heaviness, or is it different?
Yes, it is heaviness and resistance in my chest.
Okay. So then we'll tap on that. And I'm inviting anybody that's listening to tap along with us, even if they haven't got the heaviness. They can focus on any feelings that they have or any past life memories that came up. So they can just think about that and then tap with us, and it will get tapped down. Okay? So even though I have this resistance,
I have this resistance,
this heaviness in my chest,
this heaviness in my chest,
and it's possible
and it is possible
that part of me,
a part of me,
thought I wasn't allowed to let this go.
yes, thought I wasn't allowed to let this go.
Or that it wouldn't be safe for me.
It wouldn't be safe for me.
And I'd like all parts to know.
And I would like all parts to know
That this is based on past traumas.
and this is based on past traumas.
not on what's going on for me in 2020.
not on what's going on in 2020.
So it's okay to let it go.
So it is okay to let it go.
It's okay to release the heaviness
It's okay to release the heaviness
and the resistance,
and the resistance,
and to find new, safe, and healthy ways
and to find new, safe, and healthy ways
to connect to positive views of money.
to connect to the positive use of money.
So just take a breath for a moment and just check what's going on now.
Yeah, chest becomes very lighter, but again, I see some discomfort in my back.
Yeah. And even though I can feel that in my back,
So even though I feel that discomfort in my back,
and that definitely belongs to a past life.
and that definitely belongs to some past life.
And the burdens I was carrying.
And the burdens that I was carrying.
This is 2020.
This is 2020.
The life I chose to do it differently.
The life I chose to do it differently.
And I'm choosing to release this now.
And I'm choosing to release this now.
Wherever it came from.
Wherever it came from.
With my thanks.
With my thanks.
Releasing that discomfort.
Releasing this with thanks.
Releasing all traumas linked to it.
Releasing all traumas relating to it.
Releasing all vows, decisions, beliefs.
Releasing all vows, decisions, and beliefs.
Loving and accepting myself.
Loving and accepting myself.
And everyone else involved.
And everyone else in the
Involved.
involved. Okay, everyone else involved.
Loving and accepting myself.
Loving and accepting myself.
Even as I release all the old traumas.
Even as I release all the old
Traumas. Vows, decisions, and beliefs.
Vows, decisions, and beliefs. My God, I feel lighter in my back.
Yeah.
Yes, feel very light.
And sometimes if you're dealing with past life stuff, you'll get feelings in your body that might give you an idea. You know, sometimes it feels like you've been stabbed or you've got a weight on your shoulders. There could be all sorts of things. And just acknowledge that's probably from a previous life and it's okay to let it go.
Yes.
So for the people who are listening, you can just continue to do that. So if you've tapped along with us and something clears, but you've still got something there, you can rewind and tap along with us, or you can just focus and tap yourself and just go, even though I feel like this, I release it now.
Ah, that's so simple process you have revealed, Jackie. It was wonderful.
I like it to be simple.
Yes. It's not like huge scripts and lengthy statements, nothing.
Yeah.
Very beautifully crafted words.
It's better for clients too if they can see that it can be simple, because then they're likely to use it.
Yes.
You know, if they think it's got to be very long and complicated, then they won't use it. So how do you feel about doing some ancestral tapping stuff?
Oh, wow. That would be amazing.
Okay. So as I said about the past lives, it's very similar with ancestral stuff in that it's different times. So there will be times where ancestors or you in a past life had no food. You couldn't feed yourself. You couldn't feed your family. You couldn't keep your family safe. You couldn't find a home for your family. And those things are really traumatic. And those are the things that keep being passed on. And that, there have been, there has been research done on trauma, and it's been proved that trauma is passed down through the genes, which makes sense because, the aim is that if something traumatic happens, you learn from it. And you don't want your children or your children's children to go through the same thing. So anything that you think works is likely to get passed down. And it's not a conscious process. Things get passed down both genetically and also in the way the family talks, the things the family does. They don't even need to tell you their beliefs. Just watching them live their beliefs, as a child, you start making it mean something. And then you start living as though those are the rules. So we're all
time to
running
let
rules.
go those rules.
Yeah, we're all running rules that may have been created 600 years, 1,000 years ago. Some of them obviously are much closer to us, but they may have their roots that far back. So let's do some tapping on family stuff.
Sure.
Okay. So even though so much family trauma,
so much family trauma
about money and lack of money,
about money and lack of money
has been passed down through the genes
has been passed on through the genes
to me.
And
I love and accept myself.
And I love and accept myself.
And all those people who passed it down to me.
All those people who have passed it on to me.
They were just doing the best they could.
They were just doing the best they could.
With what they had.
With what they have.
Even though they passed down trauma.
They passed on trauma.
Beliefs, vows, decisions.
Beliefs, vows, decisions.
And strategies.
And strategies.
And I'm running them all.
And I'm running them all.
And I'm letting all parts of me know now.
And I'm letting all parts of me now.
That this is not my stuff.
That this is not my stuff.
It's not relevant for 2020.
It's not relevant for 2020.
And it's finally safe to release this now.
And it is finally safe to release them now.
On behalf of me.
On behalf of me.
And everybody who's experienced any of this.
And everybody who has experienced any of this.
And do you have children, Nizam?
No.
Okay, that's okay. Because I was just going to say, and anybody that comes after me.
And anybody that comes after me.
Because when you're doing healing for yourself, that healing goes back through the family line and down through the family line. Okay. So you're doing the healing and it goes in every direction.
Okay.
So even though. Sorry, we froze there for a moment.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So even though. I've been running those old, outdated beliefs.
I feel running those outdated beliefs.
I'd like all parts of me to know.
I would like all parts of me to know.
I don't need to do that any longer.
I don't need to do that any longer.
We can release all of that outdated stuff.
We could release all those outdated stuff.
back to the universe for recycling.
back to the universe for recycling.
So I can connect lovingly
So I can connect lovingly
to the energy of money,
to the energy of money,
to the energy of having money,
to the energy of having money,
which is freedom
which is freedom
and choice
and choice
and generosity.
and generosity.
And that's what I'm choosing now.
And that's what I'm choosing now.
And I love and accept myself
I love and accept myself
and everyone who's been part of this story.
and everyone who has been part of this story.
Setting us all free now.
Setting this,
Setting us. Setting us.
setting earth.
Us. Everybody.
Oh, okay.
Setting us free
Setting us free
from all the old money stories.
from all the old money stories,
The money traumas.
the money traumas,
From any life,
from any life,
any time,
any time,
any dimension,
any dimension,
and from the family line.
and from the family line.
With my thanks.
With my facts.
Thanks.
Thanks. With my thanks. Wow.
And I think just for people who aren't familiar with EFT, letting them know that when you're yawning, it's because you're shifting energy and
Yes.
something's releasing. And it can be yawning, it can be burping, it can be stomach gurgling, it can be sighing, it can be tears. They're all signs of stuck energy releasing.
Yes.
Yeah. So how are you feeling now?
I feel very, very lighter, Jackie. Very lighter, like back pain and this heaviness in my chest. This all feels, as if something has cleansed.
Good.
That was awesome. So we have cleared past lives and then ancestral part. Wow.
Yes. And so then the thing to look at is, what's gone on in this life that has influenced your views.
Okay. So three-dimensional way of healing.
Yes. So what traumas have happened to you around money? And one of the things I haven't mentioned yet is, we talked about past lives and we talked about ancestral stuff. And we've talked about families and starvation and things. One of the other things to remember is that religion can also be very much tied into views around money. So, in the Western tradition, it was about you needed to be poor to be spiritual.
Oh, yes.
And the Bible says, it's easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than a rich man to get into heaven. And there's so many things like that have been said. And, if in the past, in our religious tradition, if you became a monk or a nun, then you gave up all worldly possessions. And for you, I think there's probably similar things. Your whole
it's all over. I think similar
Yes.
beliefs. Yes.
So it's about being holy means having nothing, and trusting that God will provide. And so the belief that people can make is that if I have money, then I'm not spiritual. I'm not a good person. And I should be giving it all away. And of course you can do that. But in order to give it away, you need to have it in the first place.
Yes.
and it's about being able to have money in a safe, healthy, loving, fun way that allows you to have choices. So it can help you to make good choices. So for you, there might be training that you wanted to have with somebody. If you have money, then you can have that training which helps you to be more skilled, which helps you to share your skills with more people. It's a
Yes.
really valuable way of having money. You know, if you have money, you can have a place that's your own, a house where you feel safe and you feel comfortable. You're not worrying about money, and therefore your energy can be in growing the business and in helping other people. It's a positive. It's not a negative. But there can be young parts of us that listened to all the stuff that was going on and made decisions about it. I can remember going, I was 7 years old, I think, going to what we call Sunday school. And it was basically run by the church on a Sunday for children. And being told about, you know, it was easier for a rich, you know, a camel to go through an eye of a needle than a rich man to get into heaven. And when I was doing some tapping, I was triggered straight back to that and remembered I decided then, well, it must be important to get into heaven. So I'd better not be rich then.
Okay.
So that was at 7 years old, and did everything I could in my power not to be rich. You know, as my business got successful, I managed to shut it down several times just on an energetic level when I started to panic about having money. So, you know, we're not doing these things consciously.
Yes.
I think that's important for everybody to know. This is not about conscious decisions you make. This is about the subconscious running old beliefs and old strategies. You know, the conscious part is like the tip of an iceberg, and most of the iceberg you can't see. And it's that bit that does the damage.
Yes.
And another way of looking at it is, you know, these old beliefs, it's like a virus on the computer. On the surface, everything looks fine. But what's running the show is this virus.
That's a good analogy, Jackie. Yeah.
So I won't ask you to tell me your specific traumas about money. We'll just do a general tap about traumas and beliefs around money. Is that okay?
Yeah, yeah.
And everybody can join into that. You can focus into yours.
Sure.
So even though
So even though
there have been so many traumas around money in my life,
there have been so many traumas about money in my life,
about lack of money,
about lack of money,
and sometimes about having too much,
and sometimes about having too much,
and it's feeling uncomfortable.
and it's making me uncomfortable.
And I love and accept all parts of me.
And I love and accept all parts of me.
Because one of the things I haven't mentioned, it's not always lack of money that is the problem.
Yes, having too much.
Having what you perceive to be too much can be a problem. And again, that comes to past lives, when, you know, there may have been lives where you did have a lot of money and you weren't necessarily using it well. You perhaps weren't a good person. And so you may have made a decision at that point, I'm never going to have money again because look what it does to me. And that again could be a family thing that came down through the family line. So it, you know, money is only it's a metaphor really for what we're feeling about ourselves. So it doesn't matter whether it's too much or not enough, it can be a problem.
Yes.
So even though
So even though
money,
money,
and mostly the lack of money,
and mostly the lack of money,
has been a problem in my life.
it's been a problem in my life.
And I've made all sorts of vows, decisions, and beliefs.
And I have made all sorts of vows, decisions, and beliefs,
And created all sorts of strategies
and created all sorts of strategies
based on money.
based on money.
My feelings about money,
My feelings about money,
my thoughts about money,
my thoughts about money,
the things I tell myself about money,
the things I tell about myself about money,
the things other people tell me about money.
the things that people tell me about money.
And I'd like all parts of me to know
And I would like all parts of me to know
I did the best I could
I did the best I could
with what I had.
with what I had.
And I have new information now.
I have new information now.
And I'm choosing to see money differently.
And I'm choosing to see money differently.
To feel differently about money.
To feel differently about money.
To tell myself different things about money.
To have myself.
To tell myself.
To tell myself.
Different things about money.
Different things about money.
Things that are safe.
Things that are safe.
And healthy.
And healthy.
And so much more fun.
And so much more fun.
Than what I've been doing up till now.
Than what I've been doing till now.
Because money is just an energy.
Because money is just an energy.
That allows me to make choices.
That allows me to make choices.
That gives me freedom to do what's right for me.
That gives me freedom to do what is right for me.
And that will be better for everybody.
And that will be better for everybody.
When I'm truly living my life as myself.
When I'm truly living my life as myself.
Shining my light.
Shining my light.
I'm encouraging everyone to do the same.
I'm encouraging everyone to do the same.
And I'm releasing now.
And I'm releasing now.
All my money limitations.
All my money limitations.
Wherever they come from.
Wherever they have come from.
And I love and accept all parts of me.
And I love and accept all parts of me.
So just take a breath, just have a drink, and then just check in what's going on for you. So how's that feeling? What's going on for you?
Feeling very lighter, Jackie. Little heaviness in the top of my head, except that feeling lighter. Whole body.
Okay. So even though I've got some heaviness in the top of my head.
Even though I've got some heaviness in my head.
And that might be the neural pathways reprogramming.
And might be my new neural pathways being programming.
I love and accept all parts of me.
I love and accept all parts of me.
And I'd like the old neural pathways around money.
And I like all the neural pathways of money.
To do what comes naturally and fade.
To do what comes naturally and fade.
And new neural pathways to be created.
And new neural pathways be created.
That allows me to allow money into my life.
Which allows me to allow money into my life.
So I have choice and freedom.
So I have choice and freedom.
And I can be my naturally generous self.
And I can be my naturally generous self.
And I love and accept all parts of me.
And I love and accept all parts of me.
How's that doing?
Yeah, it's not there.
And if you notice anything else, you literally just focus on the feeling and say, even though I have this feeling, I'm choosing to release it now. And it's a simple way for people who are listening to use EFT. Focus on the feelings in the body. Even though I feel like this, I'm choosing to release it now.
Yes, that's a beautiful, simple affirmation to release.
Yeah. Because your body will let you know when there's still stuff there.
Yes. That was awesome.
One of the things that can happen is when you're trying to attract more money into your life, there will be parts of you that decide that means this. So there'll be parts that think, if I've got money in my life, I've got to give it all away. But I don't know who to give it to and how do I decide how much, and it gets too overwhelming, so it doesn't want it. Or it believes, yes, if I have that money, I'm going to be a bad person. Yeah, people won't like me. Or I'll have to live like a rich person and ignore everybody who doesn't have money. So once you've started, there are young parts of you that have made decisions about that. So you can tap on those things, even though parts of me may be, let's do it now, even though
Even though
parts of me
parts of me
may have decided
may have decided
that I have to do
that I have to do
certain things
certain things
if I have money,
if I have money.
or I have to be a certain way,
All I have to be
a certain way
a certain way
if I have money.
if I have money.
I'd like them to know
I would like them to know
that's a misunderstanding.
that's a misunderstanding.
I can live my life just as I am now.
I can live my life just the way I want.
And the only difference is I have money
And the only difference is I have money
and I have choices,
and I have choices.
and I can make choices that are good for me.
And I can make choices that are good for me.
And I love and accept all parts of me.
And I love and accept all the parts of me.
Sun's come out. Something must have shifted.
Yes.
It's been raining all morning.
Wow. That's a lovely sign.
Yes. And one of the things people might want to do when they think about having money, to write down any thoughts that come into their heads. Because there can be things like, people won't like me if I have money. That's a classic one. People will see that I'm not like them, or they'll make decisions that I'm like this based on that, or they'll decide I won't know what to do with the money if I've got it, and what if I have it and I lose it? It'll be too painful. So it's just hearing the things that you say to yourself if you think about having money, journaling, writing down, if I have money, and then just start writing and see what thoughts come up, because they're all tappable.
Wow. Yes.
Because those are the things that they're what we would call the yes buts. So you've cleared everything else. So yes, I could have money, but what if? So the next thing would be to look for the buts and the what ifs. Shall we just do a quick round on that? Do we have time
Please.
for that?
Yes.
I hope you're keeping an eye on time, so let me know if we have to finish.
Yeah.
So even though when I think about having money,
well, when I think about having money
in abundance,
in abundance,
in safe, healthy and fun ways,
in safe, fun, and
healthy ways,
healthy ways,
parts of me
are
are creating
creating
yes buts
yes buts
and what ifs.
and what ifs.
And I'd like them to know
And I would like them to know
they're doing a great job.
we are doing a great job.
And that job is complete now.
And that job is complete now.
They don't need to do that for me any longer.
They don't need to do that for me any longer.
They can either go and play,
They can either go and play,
or they can choose a new job
and they can choose a new job
where they show me all the good things about having money.
where they show me all the good things of having money.
And either is okay.
And either is okay.
That old job is complete now.
That old job is complete now.
So all parts can play
So all parts of me play
or take on a new job.
or take on a new job.
Of showing me all the good things about having money,
Of showing all the good things of having money.
all the reasons why it's good for me to have money,
All the reasons why it is good for me to have money.
all the wonderful things I can do because
All
I've got
the
money.
all the wonderful things I can do because I have money.
And I love and accept all parts of me.
I love and accept all parts of me.
I love and accept all parts of
I love and accept all parts of me. Wow, that was awesome. I didn't know that I was yarning so much. So, friends, whoever is watching this, yarning is a way of release, like Jackie told. Just keep observing whatever the kind of release your body is going through.
me. Yeah. And just a reminder to keep drinking water, because if you're
Yes,
dehydrated, it stops the process working.
yes. Thanks for the reminder. Awesome. I love the message on your cup.
I was just going to say that's the next bit. So when you feel as though you've cleared stuff, the next step is to start acting as though you really have the money. Reminding the universe, this is who you are, this is what you want. So things like this are really helpful,
Yes.
because the energy of those words will be infused in whatever I'm drinking. So I'm taking in that energy of dreaming big.
Wow.
So I have one client who wants to create a life, a business that's successful enough to create the life that allows him to stay in 5-star hotels all over the world, that allows him to get an apartment in an area that he really wants to be in. And what he does is he goes to a 5-star hotel and he just sits in the lobby and has a coffee, because anybody can do that. And as he's having the coffee, he's imagining that this is where he's staying.
Wow.
And he's really getting the feel of, this is my natural environment. This is where I belong. And after this 5-star place, I'll be in a different one, in a different place. And so he's really playing that game and being in that space. And it's letting the universe know what you want and that this is real. And for the apartment, he goes and visits friends who are in those apartments and imagines that his apartment is next door. So he's being in the place that he wants to be when he has money, and he's acting as though he has that money.
Wow.
Because what we do when we don't have money, we limit ourselves. So every time we think of doing something, we go, but I can't afford that, or I don't have the money for that yet, or da, 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 da. If you hear yourself say, I can't afford that, immediately add yet to it.
Yet.
Because it's telling your subconscious, I might not have it now, but I can. Because when you say, I can't afford it, that's the door closed. I can't afford it yet gets the subconscious working out when you could afford it. So it's opening to that possibility. So any negative words that you say, just add yet to it. And it's a starting point to make the change. But the more you can play at being rich, the more you can play at being in the place that you would be in if you had the money, the more grateful you can feel for that, the faster that's going to come to you.
Amazing. Amazing.
So,
Awesome.
so it's a process, and it's noticing when things aren't working. don't see that as the end of the story. It's, okay, why isn't it working? What am I thinking? What am I feeling? What am I believing? Let's clear that. Because there may be layers. As you clear some, then other layers may come to the surface you didn't know were there.
Yes.
Clear them. Keep clearing. Keep
Yes.
clearing. And meanwhile, practice being rich.
Yes. That was amazing, amazing, Jackie. Friends, let me tell you, I don't know, somehow, some or the other way, the first meeting just happened within no time, and this specific one, maybe this was the right time and it was meant in a right way.
Yeah.
And I really had to wait, and finally I'm very happy. I'm glad that this happened, and very beautifully structured on all the processes and beautiful insights, Jackie. I'm very, very helpful. Thankful to you, and thanks for being helpful.
It was very enjoyable. You make a very good interviewer. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And it was an amazing experience, and I'm sure lot of people are going to get benefited from this video.
Good. And they can email me to tell me if they notice things are changing.
Yes.
I'm always happy to hear.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much, Jackie.
Thanks, Nizam.
Thank you.